From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant. It is presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com. That is the website. You can check it out, place your orders online. But go there, hang out. Vegas Wall, sports, darts, billiards, friends, great food. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. I don't know if you can fit that all on a shirt, but they should. They should try it to, right? Though, Cork, it's all true.
Yeah, I mean, I've told Bill he needs some merchandise. He needs some CP merchandise. I would wear it. I'm a walking billboard. Usually, a lot of times I'm in there. Maybe not here in the upcoming weeks because I'll be laid up apparently from my surgery. But other than that, I'm usually in there. And Corey wouldn't steer you wrong.
Never. Either does Warchant, Warchant.com, Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. Won't you hit the thumbs up button if you're listening to us on YouTube? Maybe a 5-star rating and review if you're listening to us on an Apple device, which I'm still not on my Apple device yet. It's just still sitting in its box, unsealed, or sealed rather. I just haven't opened it. And subscribe to the YouTube page and download the app, everybody. If you've got a phone, if you've got a mobile device, download the app. It's easy access to everything on the website, all of the podcasts, this show, headlines, Jeff Cameron show, Sunday Smash replays, recruiting chat replays. Everything you could want is on the app because it's part of the Warchant.com family. Some stuff to get to before we dive into Renegade Express, Corey. We kind of glossed over this earlier in the week, but shout out to our own Irish O'Fell, who on Monday was like, hey, man, Link's going to bring everybody from Notre Dame with him. So first part of the puzzle has been confirmed. Rich Wallace has been hired officially as an assistant coach. He'll be the recruiting coordinator. And according to Ira's reporting, the pitching coach will also be following Link here to Tallahassee, which that'd be pretty cool if they could bring that pitcher that's in the portal with them as well. That'd be pretty nice. So what are your thoughts about bringing the whole band with you down here? I mean, why not? They did a heck of a job together in South Bend. I don't see any reason why to break it up.
Yeah, no, I always thought it would be the goal of Link is to bring those coaches with them. I mean, they got them to Omaha. They won that series in Tennessee. They easily were the best team in the ACC the last 2 years. So why not keep the band together? I just assumed one of those guys would be up for the head coaching spot at Notre Dame and would maybe get it, but apparently not. So yeah, if you got the means and they're available, bring them all down.
Yeah, I want to say they went after like the head coach at Akron or Toledo or something like that. I think got the job. So. Again, Rich Wallace officially hired. Chuck Ristano is the pitching coach who we anticipate having that title in Tallahassee. Also, yesterday, as you're listening to this on your Friday, 11 Florida State Seminoles were inducted, or named rather, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So you get named to be inducted, then when you're finally in, you're enshrined. The 11 are Jean-Yves Aubin, tennis, 07 to 010, or rather 10, there's no 010. 2007 to 2010. Amanda DaCosta, same era, soccer player. E.G. Green, football, 94 to 97. Emma Dutton, swim and diving, 2001 to 2004. Guy by the name of Brooks Koepka, golfer, 2009, 2012. James Ramsey, baseball, 2009 to 2012 as well. That's a good little era there. Jekaterina Stepanova, volleyball, 2 seasons is all she needed to make her impact. Marvin Minnis, also known as Snoop, 97 to 2000. Tim Pickett, basketball, 03-04. Tony Presley, soccer, 2008 to 2011. And Lawton and Beth Langford, stalwarts in the community, passionate supporters of Florida State athletics. Lawton, monumental challenge of reround the Pensacola Street around the FSU campus. He did that. He got it all figured out. So congrats to all those people. We're getting old, Corey. E.G. Green. What took so long for E.G. Green to get to the Hall of Fame, Corey? You need to start an investigation.
I mean, look, man, E.G. was a really good football player, but Florida State, if you're only going to induct 2 or 3 football players a year, that's a long list. That's a long line. Let's see how long it takes somebody like Jalen Ramsey to get in. So yeah, just be happy E.G. made it. Or he's called E.G. Green because his name is Ernie Green. So everybody called him E.G. But that's what Gene Deckerhoff would always call him, was Ernie Green. So Ernie Green is in the Hall of Fame. That's cool.
Okay. All right, everybody, bear with us here as we deal with some internet stuff that's going on in the year 2022, which is just it's unreasonable to think that these things even occur in this day and age. But we're going to try to get through all the questions on the Renegade Express, Corey, so I will get us going. S. Quinn67 says, wake up. To you as well, S. Quinn. We are Kirk Carruthers days away from football season and Odell Hagen's days away from New Orleans. Blackbird and I will be bringing some of the old crew, looking forward to being there and hearkening back to the fond FSU New Orleans memories of old from the 90s. It seems like we were there a lot for New Year's in those days. Fifth quarter, awesome trip. Question: before it was your job or career, what was the most away games you made it to in one single season, and what year was it? Thank you for all the great content this summer. Let's go, Noles S. Quinn, class of 93. P.S. I hope Corey's surgery goes well.
Thank you, S. Quinn. I appreciate that. You got an answer, Aslan?
No, but I probably should have thought about it. I didn't read his question beforehand. I didn't screen it. I don't know, maybe 2003. We went to Notre Dame. We went to Gainesville. We went to the Orange Bowl game, the actual Orange Bowl game. So that's 3. That's probably the max I would do in a year. I don't think I've ever done 4. So probably that year. I'm
trying to think. I think 2 was the max I did with my dad. In 91, we went to Michigan, and then I went to LSU. I think that's all we did in 91. And then 93, I was at Notre Dame. And I was at the Orange Bowl. I guess that counts as a road game. And maybe one more in that group, but I don't think so. I think they were all – yeah, no, I think 2 is probably the most I've ever been to when I wasn't covering it. Now that I think about it, yeah. 99, yeah. No, that's it, 2.
When was the last time you went to every single game in a season? Obviously because of work obligations.
Ooh, I would guess back when they made me fly at the Democrat, so 10 or 11.
Okay.
Maybe 2010 because I went to Oklahoma. No, but I didn't go to I think they played at Virginia that year, and I didn't go to Virginia because we would split it up. I don't know that I've ever been to every game. This might be the first year, Aslan. This might be because they don't have – they go to Syracuse. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So, nope. The streak's going to continue. I won't go to every game this year either.
By the way, Louisville game time has changed from 7 to 7:30, in case you all were wondering. So that was announced on Thursday as well. Let's go to Eric, formerly of Cincinnati, now in Tallahassee. He's a big fan of the Oyster City being named the official craft beer of Florida State football. He had a thought with realignment that there was an agreement to play Big Ten and Pac-10 teams in football, but I'm guessing that didn't go through. Correct, Eric. The alliance. The alliance was nothing but more. It was nothing. It was. We thought it was something. We were hoping it was something, and it was not. Anyhow, he says he's excited for the upcoming season. He's already booked for New Orleans. Can't wait to see everybody from Warchant there. As always, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drink your delicious DeLuna coffee. Go Noles. Eric from Tallahassee. P.S. Corey, I wish you speedy recovery from your surgery on Monday. Prayers.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Me too. I'm right there with you.
Seminole life. Wake up, fellas. If you guys have already done this question, just regard this. If and when we change conferences, which would you prefer, SEC or Big Ten?
Well, I'll start. I'm going to say the SEC. They're a lot closer, and the fan bases are a lot more like-minded. I know they're crazy. I get it. I am never, ever going to chant SEC. That's never going to happen unless I'm doing it ironically. But still, I would SEC. You can those. I think the campuses are nicer. The weather is nicer. All of it. It's prettier. It's nicer. And they're more football crazed, which is why Florida State would fit right in.
Yeah, man. Give me Oxford. Give me the Grove. Give me Austin, Texas. Give me Athens. Still have never been to Athens. Still can't believe Florida State and Georgia never play on the regular. Other than 2002, when's the last time the bowl game, Fabian Walker? When else have we played Georgia in our lifetimes, Corey?
The 1984 Citrus Bowl.
Okay.
And I guess that would be it. Yeah, in my lifetime anyway.
Incredible. That's the only 2 times we've played that team. So, yes, and I also think that would be probably more practical because the SEC is an ESPN property, and so is Florida State by and large because we're in the ACC right now. Big Ten, again, they haven't signed their new television agreement. I don't know if they're totally going to be able to elbow and phase out ESPN, but they are going to be mainly a Fox property. They already are right now. The high noon or big noon game or whatever they call it on Fox is always a Big Ten game. So It just seems like it makes more sense for us to go to the SEC. And yeah, again, those schools, again, we'll go to the Grove. It will live up to everything. I promise you, everybody. I'm the negative guy, but I promise you it will be amazing. JT Noles, 2K2. Aslan and Corey, wake up. When conference realignment does occur, what matchup from either the SEC or Big Ten will make the most money for the city of Tallahassee? If we join the SEC, I would probably say A&M. I feel the atmosphere could rival the intensity we saw a year ago in Knoxville for that Tennessee-Ole Miss game, hopefully without fans throwing mustard bottles, of course. If we were to join the Big Ten, I would say possibly any of the top teams. It's hard to narrow that one down to one choice because I'm not sure a Big Ten team has come to Doak, at least in my short lifetime. I think some of the teams could draw eyes and fans to come to Tallahassee. Who would you guys pick from either conference? Thank you so much for answering my question. Support the sponsors, support the players who have merchandise and YouTube accounts, along with our Warchant personalities. P.S. Corey, I hope your surgery goes well.
Thank you. Thank everyone. I would say for the SEC, man, I think they're all sellouts. I think all those teams use their allotments. Georgia, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, maybe not Vanderbilt, but I think even Kentucky. I think that's the beauty of the SEC, right? Those visiting stands, or that visiting pocket where visiting fans are supposed to be, will be full with all those teams. And with the Big Ten, I would say Ohio State and Michigan for sure would bring huge numbers to Tallahassee. And I mean just interest. The Florida State fans are going to buy those tickets because it's Ohio State and Michigan. So those would be huge for the city, games like that. And I think Michigan State, Aslan, was the last and only Big Ten team to come to Florida State, and that was 1988. Unless there's something that happened in the last 35 years that I'm not recalling right now, I think it was Michigan State.
I believe you. That sounds about right. I can't think of Minnesota or Illinois have come into town, or Wisconsin, but I would, if you have to pick one, I would say Ohio State probably would be the best for the economy. They're all going to sell out, but I just think there's more there's more Ohioans in Florida, I think, than Michiganders. So by that flimsy logic, I would say that Ohio State game. Plus, again, the alcohol sales, bail bonds industry will skyrocket with those yahoos in this town. So. And then for the SEC, man, yeah, A&M would be crazy. I mean, especially if we're both rocking and rolling and it's, a pair of 5-0 teams facing off and Jimbo's still there. Otherwise, I'd say Georgia.
But wouldn't you say the same about Alabama, Auburn, Georgia?
Yeah, they all would, but I'm saying just a little extra flair. Best for the economy. Maybe Georgia. I think Georgia might figure out a way to outnumber us in our own stadium. I mean, they've got the geographic.
Well, now that would depend on how the games are going, right? You remember when they played Notre Dame a few years ago, and it was half red in that stadium. Because that was a once in a lifetime thing for Georgia fans. But I think this one, they're only going to get 10,000 tickets or 8,000 tickets or whatever. And I think if both teams are pretty good, it's going to be. I don't think it'd be like a bowl game. I think it'd be mostly Florida State fans, especially in the same conference. They get to do it every year, but they will come. And it would be huge. I mean, that's just what we're missing, man. That's just what Tallahassee's missing is an opposing fan base that cares and travels. It doesn't ever happen.
Other than Clemson and Miami and Florida. Yeah. But Florida is always that Thanksgiving weekend now, so it's really not much of a travel and weekend mayhem. So, moving along, John Henry Jones Jr. Aslan, why does Corey keep insisting the Big Ten has only won one national title in the last 25 years? Am I trapped in an alternate universe where Jim Tressel pass interference and the 2002 Miami Hurricanes and Willis McGahee's backwards knee never happened? Well, we corrected that the other day.
I apologize. That's crazy. I've rephrased it now to say only one team in the Big Ten has won a championship in the last 25 years.
There you go. All right, so yeah, you were only 25% mistaken. I like it.
Correct. Yeah.
P.S. Break a leg on your surgery, Corey. I think that's a saying. We're all going to be thinking about you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Primetime 92. I can't believe that team won, by the way. Craig Krenzel. I know they had Maurice Claret. Did they have Santonio Holmes? Or no, Santonio Holmes he must have been after that, I think.
They had Michael Jenkins, who the Falcons drafted in the first round. They had
Mike Doss, defensive back.
And they had that DB Gamble maybe.
Oh yeah,
that
Chris
was supposedly
Gamble.
good that played wide receiver and I mean I guess they had a really good line of scrimmage. Maybe Hayward was Hayward on that team. Craig Hayward's kid. No, that was a few years later. Cameron Hayward. No, he wasn't. So yeah, no, that's crazy. That was an all-time choke job by Miami. Hope they're happy, and they haven't come close to one since.
Yo, you hear that? That's the sound of the hottest new club, the Zaxby's Signature Club Sandwich. It's everything you love about our original sandwich, but, clubbier. Hand-breaded chicken, bacon, and cheese, and your choice of Zax sauce or spicy Zax sauce. Try one today with fries and a drink. Only at Zaxby's. Did we turn it down now?
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's indescribably good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
Primetime 92. 2 questions. 1, would you go to prison for 1 year for $1 million?
No.
Well, depends what kind of prison. I probably would say no. I'm at 99.9%. If you give me white collar, minimum security, country club prison, maybe. $10 million, absolutely.
You'd go to a federal prison, like a regular federal prison.
If it was
for
a minimum,
$10 million?
For minimum security, like white
collar.
No,
I'm talking about
people.
max. I'm talking about max security.
Oh, hell no. I mean, for $10 million, though, jeez. I mean, that would be hell. That would be hell. Listen, I was in a county jail for 20-something hours, not a full 24, I don't think. And, man, it's dehumanizing. It's not fun. There's no funny stories to be told from that experience. A whole year of it. I don't know. If you got your own cell and you're only out of it for an hour, so you're just in the yard for 30 and you're eating for 30 and you're not going to get, that minimizes the likelihood that you're going to get beat up and harassed and stuff. But it's just way too many caveats. But, a year, hey, man, winter, spring, summer, fall, and then you got $10 million. And that buys you a house and college funds for children and vacations. I mean, it's not life-changing $10 million, but it's life-enhancing. But probably.
The answer still is no.
Okay.
Especially to $1 million, there's
absolutely,
no chance.
No.
Yeah.
No way. 2, do you ever wish you opened your own business? What would it be?
I always had the idea, and it would never happen now, is I wanted to open up like an old-timey type movie theater that showed like movies from my childhood. Like you could go watch E.T. or Jaws or Raiders of the Lost Ark on the big screen.
Okay.
And I feel like it wouldn't cost as much as like the Marvel movies because you're not having to pay the studios as much. So it should be a huge moneymaker. But then I don't know that people would do that anymore. Maybe in the 1990s they would have, but I don't know about now because you can stream everything.
I never aspired to be an entrepreneur, which I think we probably should kind of groom that in our youth. That's true freedom, kids, being your own boss.
Yeah.
But, I remember one of my friends in college tried to get me to give him like a few $1,000s so he could get like a Subway franchise going. And he brings it up constantly. He's like, hey, man, imagine how rich we'd be if we would have started a Subway franchise back in 2003. And I'm like, yeah. But then it's like, yeah, I mean, you got to work that. You got to open and close the Subway your whole, every single day for how many years until it finally is up off the ground. And I don't know. I like working for a company. I like working for corporations. I like that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I never aspired to be my own boss in anything. So,
funeral homes never go out of business. Funeral
true.
homes and strip clubs. I think that's what Antone Smith said.
Yes.
On his that media day when he was asked what he wanted to do after football. I think he said liquor stores and funeral homes that they never go out of business.
Yeah. I was thinking when I was in college, I did mention like starting a tattoo room. I'm like, too many people are getting tattoos. I'm like, I got to start a tattoo removal company, like a nice, glossy, clean, happy-looking tattoo removal place, and just start franchising it out because I just think everybody's getting a tattoo and they're not looking all that great 5, 10, 15 years later. But a lot of people are like, oh, it tells a story. It reminds me of that time. And it's like, all right, cool. It looks horrendous, though. I cannot tell if it's a mermaid or a sloth. But, hey, it has a meaning.
What about like a you have a tattoo parlor and a tattoo removal parlor in the same location, in the same building. And when you go into the tattoo parlor, it looks like, it's a big bald guy wearing a sleeveless leather jacket with a bunch of tats everywhere.
Right.
He's the tattoo guy. And it's got all the drawings up and all the vines and skulls and everything. Yeah. But when you go to the tattoo removal place, it's almost like a massage. Like it's like a spa.
Yes.
It's a spa, yeah. And it's got light music. It's got like Enya playing. Yes. And the person that comes out is wearing a suit. And they look like a normal business person, and that's who removes the tattoo. So it's like the dichotomy of man. It's got, you walk into the left, and it's like the devil on your shoulder, and you walk into the right, it's like the angel on your shoulder.
I like it. Yeah,
it's not a bad idea. I'm just saying.
Well, originally, I really wanted to start tattoo parlors that were just going to be really glossy and nice and shiny and pretty. Because I don't want to walk into a grungy place. Everyone's like, well, that's the whole point, man. You want to go into a tattoo place. It's like a bar. You want to go to a barbecue place that's like a smoky shack. That's like a greasy spoon diner. Like, you don't want to go into a fine dining barbecue establishment. I'm like, I don't know. I think more people be willing to go into a nice, pretty tattoo shop. And then I'm like, all right, how about I'll make it a tattoo removal place? But again, I ended up working in sales and then sports journalism, kids. Dreams come true. Drill Sergeant Porter. Wake up. 2 questions for you guys. First, who is the most FSU person you know other than Odell? I did see this. I would give a shout-out to Doug Mannheimer, I can't think of the proper title, but he's the
curator?
Sure.
Like the curator of the Assad Cemetery?
Yeah. He's at like every basketball game. He organizes those sod chats before home games with great Florida State legends. And since COVID, they've stopped doing the chats, and they've done these pre-produced videos with Seminole Productions that look phenomenal. He's like his voice bellows and echoes from that display, and he's created that whole little niche of Florida State lore. So he's pretty serious about this stuff. So he's pretty darn FSU, I would say.
What about Deckerhoff? Does he count?
Yeah, he lives in Tallahassee. He's chosen to retire and live here. He did graduate from Florida. That's so I'm a little bit suspect. Love you, though.
Right. I think he has his bona fides now, though. I think people believe he's a Nole now after 40 years of doing that.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, Gene Williams. Look at Gene Williams starting this thing, right? Still
Jeff Cameron. I mean, they're FSU grads. I know they cover the team and they have for a long time, but they're also grads. They grew up with the team, so yeah, those are 2 good choices too.
What about Chip Baker? Chip Baker's up there, right?
Yeah, but he didn't graduate from Florida State either. If you're going to hold that against Deckerhoff, you got to hold it against Baker too. But yeah, he's been around forever too. He's tried and true. 40 years, give or take, at Florida State as well.
All right. Second question. If Florida State University somehow is left out of one of these 2 mega conferences, will the Florida State University-Florida rivalry and other major ones, depending on where they end up, be pretty much over? When I lived in Ohio State would always play MAC teams like Toledo and Akron. I would hate to think our rivalry with the Gators would turn into something that resembles that. Also, we are 3-0 against Ohio State. We beat them twice in Columbus, 81, 82, and then in the bowl game, 97. Anyways, thank you guys, and as always, go Noles.
That's right. They did beat them twice.
Yeah. Good to hear from you, Drill Sergeant Porter. It's been a while. Hope Florida's treating you fine and well. Yeah, man, rivalry's going to be over, right? Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're going to go to Super Conference. If you're going to be in a mega conference with 15 other teams, I mean, right now these, SEC is going to be at 16 when Texas and Oklahoma show up. Ohio, or when Southern Cal and UCLA show up, Big Ten's going to be at 16. I don't know how many non-conference games you're going to get, and whether you're going to want them to be murderous games that you have chances of losing in. I don't know how practical that is. I just think about A&M and Texas. That's unthinkable that those 2 teams wouldn't play, and they haven't played since A&M went to the SEC. So I would imagine that would mark the end of those rivalries.
Well, yeah, man, you can think about Florida State Miami is one of the biggest rivalries in the sport. Oklahoma and Nebraska used to be enormous. Mm-hmm. That was the game in the country, and they haven't played. I don't know. They played once in 15 years, 10 years, whatever it is. I mean, yeah, people don't care about rivalries anymore. So as much as it pains us to think about, yeah, if somehow there's just 2 super conferences and Florida State isn't in it, and yeah, Florida's not going to be playing Florida State. They're not going to, I don't know. There'd be no reason for them to. And I know there was the state legislature made them do it in the 60s. I don't know if that still holds water in 2022. Who knows? So I wouldn't think that there'd be any reason for Florida to play Florida State unless they're in the same conference. Moving forward, not now, obviously, but in 2035 or whenever.
I think that's urban legend about the legislature. The legislature might have put pressure, but I don't think it was ever like an ordinance or code went into effect where it was like, yeah, you have to play each other or else. I do think Louisiana did something recently though, where they made a push for LSU to schedule in-state schools for their non-conference games. So they play McNeese State, for example, instead of playing Mercer, which that makes sense. Like, yeah, help out the state, man. Keep the money inside. But yeah, I can't imagine that. Again, if you're going to be in a conference with 15 other teams, I mean, I don't know how many. You go to a 9-conference game slate. You're playing 12 games. I mean, you still have 3 non-conference games. There's no reason that you couldn't do it. I just look at A&M and Texas not playing. Like Corey said, Oklahoma and Nebraska stopped playing. I mean, I think they renewed it this past season. They'll play in Lincoln for the return trip. But, I don't know. Like, I want to win national titles, but I would like to beat Florida and Miami as well. So my first and foremost focus will always be on winning national titles. But if we can't win national titles and we're not beating up on those 2 teams, it's just like, I don't know. That feel very hollow, very empty, Corey. Personally speaking. Just personally.
Agreed, buddy. Agreed. Let's hope it never comes to that.
Let's go to Hawaii. It's Ralph, Spartan Noles 71. Aloha, guys. How's it? Corey, our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we'll be in overdrive Monday.
Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that, buddy.
No question this week. Just wanted to share a quick story to put a smile on everyone's face. The other night, I had to go to the local supermarket to grab an item or two. I was wearing an FSU shirt, as always. A man walked by me wearing a Gator shirt. He said, "Go Gators." Without missing a beat, I replied, "Yeah, straight to hell." See you all on the 26th of August at the CP when Corey and Jeff kick off the season with their first home game live show of the season. Your friend, Ralph, in Hawaii.
All right, Ralph. Do we know if Ralph is staying stateside? Is that what you call it, I guess, when you're in the
mainland?
The mainland? Is he staying mainland side for the game in LSU too?
Pretty sure.
Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, there you go. Go straight to hell, Gators, right? Isn't that the motto we have around here?
Absolutely. Dane_Owen. What up, dudes? You guys always preface the Warchant preseason top 40 by saying, quote, most important to this year's team success or something similar, not NFL potential. Well, if the criteria was most likely to be a known name in the NFL in the next 5 years, who would be your top 5 or maybe your top 10 from this team? Thanks. You guys are awesome. P.S. Corey, you're in my thoughts. I'm just kidding. But he does say, Corey, milk that surgery for all it's worth, buddy. Tell Gene the emotional toll is just too much to come in for a couple of weeks. Get a bell to ring, the whole 9. For real, though, good luck. Super simple surgery. You'll do great. Go Noles.
Thank you. And I was actually kind of looking forward to having a couple of days off and Stephanie to take care of me. But Stephanie has contracted COVID, so she won't be able to take care of me starting Monday. So I'll have to put a feeler out there. If you're interested in coming over to my house and hanging out for a couple of days, just get up in my DMs. Just slide up in my DMs, and we'll see what we can work out.
Are you doing it up in Georgia or in Florida?
Florida.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is she okay? Is she asymptomatic, or has she got little?
No, as we record this, I talked to her right before we started recording, and she's driving back from a work trip in Marco Island, and she was not feeling very good at all. So it's her first time having it. Hopefully, it's just a day or two, and she'll be back. She'll be back feeling fine after that.
Man, this is nonsense, man. I thought this whole mutating was supposed to get weaker, but no, I digress. All right, Corey. Known NFL name in the next 5 years. He asked for a top 5 or 10. Let's not go overboard, Dane. We'll go with a top 5, big guy. Is Jared Verse on that for you?
Yes.
Okay, I agree.
AZ Thomas.
Oh, hasn't even played one single snap. I love it.
Yep. Yep. I think he's going to be an NFL player.
Anybody on the offensive line?
No, not that I'm sure of. Yeah. Like, I want to see what these guys look like this year, and then I can make a better judgment of that. There's nobody that's proven it so far, right, that you'd be like, oh, he's absolutely an NFL player. Right. Like maybe Robert Scott takes a big step up, or Darius Washington, or Morty Smith, or whoever. But I wouldn't bet my mortgage on any of those guys. I'm trying to think.
Verse Jamie Robinson. I mean, Jamie will probably play in the league. He'll have a cup of coffee. He'll hang around for a few years. I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, maybe undersized, but maybe he'll move to cornerback or slot and be all right there as opposed to playing safety. All right, so Zaire Thomas, Jared Verse, Fabian. Want to say Fabian?
I guess Fabian. It's a tough one, man. Like, I think we'll have a much better handle on this after we watch a month of these guys playing.
I'll throw Maureen Cooper in there just to give you 5, everybody.
There you go. That's good. And then I'll say I'm going to go out on a limb and say Johnny Wilson.
Good Lord, man. All right.
Johnny Wilson, J-Dub. I'm all aboard the J-Dub train.
Old Dad's a Nole. Wake up. I always liked Greg Newell, Stan Shiver combo, but doesn't it have to be Bonasort and Jones? I mean, they were on a defense similar to the team from the North last year, statistically speaking, and it was neither of them who dropped 2 easy interceptions on the last drive, nor got beat for the 2-point conversion against Oklahoma in that gut-wrenching loss.
Yeah, he's talking about the 1980 team, and that 1980 defense was insane. It was unbelievable. It just, when you look at the numbers, I know football was different 42 years ago, obviously, but they were just insane. I think Monk retired as the all-time leading interceptor in Florida State history. Keith Jones was a hard-hitting safety. Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's a good combo. I still think I go with LaMarcus and Brooks, but just because of the NFL careers they had and are having. But Keith Jones and Monk were very good, and at a crucial time for the program.
All right. Corey, I don't have a question about your exercise, but I will ask if you wouldn't mind sharing some of your dietary changes, whether it's solids or liquids. I'm a little older than you, but I'm about to try to lose some weight. I will share with you, coming from my best friend, never be too far from a bathroom once your gallbladder is out. Hate that, but I've heard his horror stories. Oh, come on. He's going to be all right.
Well, I saw that I could expect diarrhea up for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, maybe even 2 to 4 weeks after the surgery. And I was like, I even told Stephanie this. I'm like, you had me at hello. I don't mind that at all. I'd rather be coming out of that end than the other end. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez, yeah. Just
saying. And at this day and age, you can watch a movie. You can on Twitter. There's a lot of. It's all right. My diet just basically, and I don't know what your diet is, but I used to drink a lot of beer. Not a lot of beer. It was a reasonable amount, but I don't drink beer anymore, and I don't drink soda anymore. And I only eat for an 8-hour window. So if my first meal is at 1 o'clock, I'm not eating again after 9. Or if my first meal is and that's me, I have a weird schedule. So if your first meal is at 10, don't eat again after 6. Just have that 8-hour window where you eat, and don't eat anything after that. That's it. And just, a bunch of exercise.
Yeah, it sounds pretty practical and pretty sustainable. And that's what I like to hear. I mean, that to me sounds like a sustainable life change. Like, it's not something you're going to fall off and be like, give me all the Mountain Dew and everything,
Yeah, and look, the Mio, I'm telling you, the Mio, and they should be a sponsor of every show I'm on, because that's all I drink now, and it really did change my life because I just didn't like drinking water. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't get my mind around, this is going to taste great, because it doesn't. But Mio's, it actually makes it taste like something. It's a fruity drink. It's nice. And it's no calories at all, unlike the soda that I was drinking. And I was drinking, Aslan, I was drinking 4, 5, 6 Diet Cokes a day. It's just ridiculous. And I don't anymore. So that helps. And then, so Bill, my trainer, was like, also, you might want to stay away from carbs and try to keep away from carbs and low carbs or no carbs if you can. And I'm like, you know what? No. I'm old, man. Like, I'm doing enough. Like, I should be able to go eat what I want to eat when I'm eating. Like, I don't eat crazy, but, I'm not. If I want to have I haven't had a donut, but if I wanted a donut or if I just want a chicken sandwich, I don't need to be taken off the bread. I'm just going to eat my chicken sandwich. You heard?
All right, XDQ004, it's Derek. He's an Omega, man. Wake up! Man, I was rough after the live show. I feel like I regressed. But I'll squeeze out a wake-up for our guy. We're a little over 6 weeks away from the start of a pivotal season for Mike Norvell and our beloved Noles. Duquesne gives us an opportunity to start the season with a win and hopefully the confidence and momentum that we will need to go to New Orleans and kick LSU's teeth in. Starting off 2-0. I don't know what happened there. Starting off 2-0 heading into a bye should energize this fan base and make the Louisville game a gateway to our first 3-0 start in 7 years. If you can't tell, I am bullish on the Noles and think we have a real chance to start 5-0. All right.
Okay.
That's what? That's Duquesne, LSU, Louisville, Wake, and somebody else? Syracuse in there?
Or NC State, maybe?
No.
I thought they were early October. I thought NC State was early October.
This is where I just got to get the poster. That's how I think I always remember the schedule. I always get the schedule poster and hang it up. Boston College. There you go, Boston. So Duquesne, LSU, off week, Louisville Friday night, Boston College, Wake Forest.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Man, I mean, shoot, they're 5-0. Sky's the limit, big guy.
Man, we'll be dancing if they're 5-0. Are you kidding me?
Let's get 1-0. Let's just get to 1-0.
That's right. Yep.
Question, I couldn't get a ticket for LSU, but I will be in New Orleans the week before. Do you have any good restaurant and bar recommendations? Support the great sponsors and go Noles. Yeah, man, again, brunch, Central Business District, Ruby Slipper Cafe. Check out the Carousel Bar and the Hotel Monteleone for a cocktail if you want to just kind of kick it and relax. Anything on Frenchman Street, it's more localish. More locals hang out there. Live music, brass. Le Maison is the Maison, I think is what it's called. Excuse me. That's one of my more enjoyable places to go. Drago's, because apparently nowhere else in the world wants to charbroil their oysters, Corey. I was in Apalachicola a few weeks ago. It's Oyster City. No one wants to charbroil their oysters. It's always raw. Everything's raw or maybe sprinkled or baked, or it's like you cannot. And they're delicious, Drago's. More as we get closer. Pados, do the touristy thing. Go grab a hurricane. Pados, sit in the courtyard. Breathe in the fresh air. We'll start a thread at some point, I'm sure. Anything I'm leaving off, Corey?
No, I mean, you could do another touristy thing is the beignets at Cafe Du Monde, but you could get beignets anywhere and not have to wait in line for an hour. I mean, it's just sugared bread. It's nice. It's good. Yeah. It's basically a funnel cake, man, that you could go get at a carnival. I personally, having done it, I would not waste your time. I would wait till somebody's walking out of it with a two and say, hey, I'll give you $20 for one of those. And if they say no, say, all right, well, that's it. You go to another place. Like, there's a lot of places that have beignets. That's just the most famous one. And I got to imagine they all taste the same. It's just sweet, sugary bread, right?
I don't know, man. I've never had one from Cafe Du Monde. I've had them from
and you've lived your whole life, and you've been all right with it, right?
No, I've been a little bit sad. I went one time, but apparently this was like 5-6 years ago. I think it was maybe during one, or maybe even longer than that, when the Super Bowl was there. Shoot, that's like 10 years ago when the blackout happened. Beyonce halftime, Ravens, Niners, and they only were taking cash. But I think somebody told me they now take credit card there. So, but yeah, I wanted. I'm like, I've never done this. My mom is always like, "Oh, you're in New Orleans, get a beignet from Cafe Du Monde," and I've never done it. So, I will do it though. That's on the bucket list for this next journey out there. So,
I know the restaurant that Stephanie really likes is called. Well, there's a bunch of them, but GW Finn's, and I think we've been there before, but she's much better at those. I can't remember any of the names, but I do know we went there before and it was really good. It was called GW Finn's. But there's, like Aslan said, there's a ton of them. And, there's probably a lot better people that could answer that question that are like natives that would know better than us.
Also, Fat Cats, good karaoke bar. And the Dungeon, apparently. We'll be there. Come see us.
The Dungeon. Don't forget the Dungeon. Yeah,
Sign the
absolutely.
pillar. Sign the pillar. Random_John, good morning, Aslan and Corey. Aslan, I hope the COVID has left you no worse for wear. And Corey, as you may not keep your gallbladder, may it help educate a young med student somewhere someday, or at least sit in a mad scientist's laboratory.
Yeah, it should be sitting by my bedside table. That's where it should be, but no, I'm not allowed to keep my own body part. Awesome.
Somebody was
kind of world are we living in?
Somebody was commenting the reason they don't let you keep it is because they want to preserve it for like the stem cells in it or whatever for further research, for medical enhancement and innovation. So
Did I sign something giving them authority to do that?
I don't know, it's just being a productive member of society, giving back, paying it forward. You know,
I guess. What if I did want to do my own research and my own experiments on my own gallbladder? Feel like I should be allowed to, but whatever.
Maybe just have them take a photo of it. You know, I mean, is that close enough?
I guess their counter to that could be, well, if you want to do it so bad, why don't you cut it out yourself?
Ooh.
So I get it. I guess once you're cutting me open, it's your property.
All right,
they're not cutting me open though. They're lasering me open apparently.
Nice. Oh, all right. Well, then
it's like laparoscopic. Is that what it's called? Laparoscopic.
Are you gonna? How are they removing it? Like, is it going to get extracted, or is it going to be like vaporized, and you're just going to excrete it?
Man, I don't know. I don't know really. He told me, but I can't remember. I think I'm supposed to have like 4 holes in my stomach, and maybe it comes out of one of the holes.
Okay.
They kind of squirt it out. I don't know.
All right. Okay. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. Sorry. On to the question. Once Florida State University is able to jump conferences and get much nicer paychecks, what do you believe will be FSU's first big expenditure? Chocolate fountain, petting zoo, interactive statue of Corey Clark that gives dry, sarcastic advice to people who ask it questions about life? Maybe something more suitable for a university and an athletic program. What is on FSU's wish list?
If they paid enough, they could get the real Corey Clark just standing out there giving sarcastic advice. I would say my first thing, my first expenditure, if I'm running the show and all of a sudden an extra $80 million in 1 year comes in, is I'm completely uprooting the baseball stadium and putting it by College Town.
Oh. Okay.
That's what I'm doing. I'm moving it to the intramural fields. That's where Hauser will be, and that will be a great college baseball experience. That's the first thing I'm doing.
All right. Now I can't really argue against it. I have a little bit of nostalgia for the IM fields because, that's where I would, ball out back in the day.
Yeah.
I was terrible, by the way. I mean, you people who actually run plays and practice flag football, you're the worst. You guys are the worst. Holy Rollers. I think that was like the team that ran roughshod like the 3 years I was at Tallahassee, 4 years. I do like that, and yeah, they do have some sports play out there. Some teams practice out there. Otherwise, football use it for their mega camps. But it's really just mainly I think it just functions as a parking lot on game weekends for football.
Yep.
So yeah, man, make that into a baseball stadium, I guess if you could. I would like a football only facility, like top of the line or whatever they have created the sketches of or whatever, the renderings. I'm all for that. Get that thing done. That would be awesome. I think you need it. Still think it's part of the mix you need. You need that in your portfolio if you want to be part of the big boy club or whatever. So, and I don't know, maybe endow some scholarships too. And then also a Mickey Andrews statue or rename some swath of road Mickey Andrews Way.
Yep. All good suggestions, Aslan.
Fun question on my way out. What is normal at 3 p.m. but terrifying at 3 a.m.? Support Corner Pocket, Zaxby's, DeLuna. Also subscribe to Warchant. You might be selected to be the one who gets Corey's gallbladder. Go Noles.
Oh, I wish. I would say I'm just going from recency bias here, but before we started this, I just went on a walk in my neighborhood down to the Greenway, and I feel like that would be really terrifying at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
The animals that are out there, drifters, who knows what else is out there at 3 a.m. that don't come up during the light of day.
I'd say being in the ocean then. That's that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's got to be creepy. I've never done the ocean after, when the sun goes down, really. Not except, right at the edge.
Yeah.
A little night swimming right at the edge of the beach. But, out there, 100 yards or something, that seems like that would be terrifying.
Yes. Oh, that's got a shiver there. All right, it's Mark in Naples, M. Adams, CZ. I did ask everybody at the top of the thread, sometimes just try to get some discussion elicited and everything about conference realignment. Do they want to – are you in wake me up when it's over mode, or are you dusting off your contract law degree and trying to figure everything out? Mark, who's actually an attorney, says, I'm in the wake me up when it's over corner on conference talk. It's fascinating, but it's exhausting. Lots of interesting, quote, legal theories on the tribal council about blowing up the grant of rights. But in this case, I'm afraid a judge won't void a contract entered into by large institutions that had experienced lawyers representing them. I suppose you could argue that the Athletic Coast Conference was derelict in its duties to the member schools, but the school presidents signed the darn thing anyways. What's our argument? Your Honor, this deal sucks. The ACC should be getting better money for parity in the sport. Response from the judge. Counsel, show me the television ratings for the Florida-Georgia game versus the Wake and Pitt game. Other argument, Your Honor, FSU should at least be making the same amount of money that Vanderbilt and Missouri made. Response from the judge. I agree, counsel, but your university president voluntarily signed this grant of rights with the ACC, correct? I don't know. I'm just hoping for some good news soon. Would not want to be Jim Phillips at the ACC kickoff. I just hope he doesn't say what the Big 12 commissioner said and announce that the ACC is in the best position it's ever been in. You guys would laugh out loud in the presser, right? Are you driving to Charlotte together? And if you did, what is the agreed playlist for tunes in the car? Go Noles. Yeah, that's that's all true. He's a lawyer, everybody. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think what would change the chemistry of it or the calculus of it is, it's got to be more than Florida State. What if all of a sudden you have 8 or 9 schools that are trying to get out? What happens then? That I think, and what if North Carolina, Notre Dame, NC State, Duke, and Miami all leave for the Big Ten, but the ACC is still going to hold the remaining schools to a contract for a conference that doesn't exist anymore? Like, that's not the conference they were in 2013. So maybe that holds some weight. Like, this is, yes, we all signed this, but 4 teams who could afford it bounced. So now this is not the makeup of the conference we were in. This was not the conference we agreed to be in. So now what? But, I don't know. I think you're going to end up having to pay a large sum of money. A large sum of money. It's just a matter of how much it is. Like, they'll settle. Maryland settled. Willie Taggart settled. Everybody settles, but you're going to have to settle for a large payoff, probably. Unless like 10 teams leave, and then who even gets the money? Does Jim Phillips pocket that money? Like, who gets the money if they're going to get $1 billion and people buying out their grant of rights deals? Where would it go? What would the ACC do with it? Because what are they going to get Cincinnati and Memphis to come over? Like, that seems. I don't know. I have no idea where any of this goes, and I am not going to Charlotte, so I won't have any say on the playlist because I'll be recovering and searching for my gallbladder.
Yeah, I mean, it's twofold. It's like we not only have to pay an exit fee, but then we still, just because we exit the conference doesn't mean we take our rights with us. I mean, that's why the grant of rights thing has to be dissolved, because otherwise, we can pay, whatever, the SEC, like, all right, here's $50 million or whatever to go towards paying the exit fee to get out of the conference. But then it's like, all right, well, we're in your conference, but we don't have our media rights. We don't own it, so we can't be on television playing games or whatever. So it's messy. But again, though, something's going to happen here in the next year or two. 18 months max. I won't go more than I won't say 2 years.
All right.
A lot of it's the college football playoff. I think the college football playoff is a bit of a bargaining chip. That's going to be over in 2025. They're going to want to get that thing situated and knocked out here probably in the next year. And again, man, like right now as it stands, ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, then we're all getting the same amount of money from the college football playoff television contract that the SEC and the Big 10 are getting, like something like $65 million from that contract. Meanwhile, again, the group of 5 schools, they have to split $95 million amongst all of them. So whatever 60-something schools there is or whatever, they got to split that all up. Meanwhile, us 12 in this conference, or 14 or whatever, we have $60 million. So we're getting a bigger piece of the pie than the group of 5. Now, if Florida State's left in the lurch and the new college football playoff contract comes up again, we're not going to get a good piece of that pie, and that's going to put us even further back. And I can't imagine we'll stand back and let that happen. What will we do? I don't know, everybody. I didn't go to law school. I got lost on the way there and ended up interning for Gene and Ira, and now I'm here.
Right.
So.
Yep, there you go. Worked out for everyone.
And I don't know. I don't think we listened to music last year. Last year it was Ira, Tom, Austin, and myself. And we just talk. We just chew the fat, talk about life, Noles, that kind of stuff. But Ira's usually driving because the rental's usually in his name, so probably Springsteen or whatever he's got on his.
Right, Nickelback.
Hey, he's got. Come on, don't be mean. So whatever he wants to listen to, we defer to him. All right, we got 2 more, Corey. Look at that, man. We breezed through this one. Good questions and good answers. Island Chief, wake up. Kind of weird that we have so many body parts that we can do without. Good luck, Corey. Hope you have a quick recovery.
Thanks, Island Chief. I appreciate that.
The mega conference question looms, but even if we are in somehow, lots of teams will be left out. How must the future look to all the Pac-12, Big 12, ACC schools left behind? We have some hope that we may get in. They've got none. What are the outside-the-box solutions to save college football? Corporate sponsorship, PGA model that pays winners more. I think a Premier League model with relegation and promotion is fair. You could then have all the bowl games mean something, and then that would help pay the freight. And teams get bonuses for TV viewers. Squash this notion so I can move on. I did think about this the other day, Corey. So if Florida State does get left out, and there's 16 in the SEC, 16 in the Big 10, and then whatever's left of us in the ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, we'll go to whatever, 12-team playoff, and then what? We go like 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big 10, and then the remaining 4, like 1 from the ACC, 1 from the Big 12, 1 from the Pac-12, and then a group of 5 school. So maybe we still can get in there. I don't know how out of the box that is, but in terms of like what's going to happen to Wake Forest or Syracuse, maybe there is some sort of relegation, kind of a second tier to where they can, I don't know if they're going to be able to earn their way into a super conference, but maybe there will be some sort of play-in game when the playoff expands to 16 teams or something. I don't know. I do feel bad for those schools, but I'm more worried about what's going to happen with Florida State right now. I haven't been able to get enough empathy and sympathy spread out to whoever else, Baylor, Washington State.
Correct. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for the fans all across the country that are having to deal with this. But yeah, right now you just got to worry about Florida State, and Florida State's done a lot more for college football than any of those schools you just named. I mean, by 10-fold, 20-fold. Nobody can name their 3-5 their favorite Wake Forest players, in our memorable games in Wake Forest history, other than 30-0. But that's it. So I think when it comes to relegation and things like that, and trying to take care of the trying to think outside the box, I'm all for it. But who's doing the thinking?
Yeah.
There's no stewards of this game right now. Like, love them or hate them, like Bud Selig, Roger Goodell, they were stewards of the game, trying, sometimes horribly, but trying to take care of the sport, the betterment of the sport. Now, they did some awful things, publicity-wise, and having a tie in an all-star game in baseball and everything else was awful. And obviously the NFL's had plenty of PR hits over the years, but they really do care about the future of the game, and they are stewards of that league. And right now, there just aren't any. There's nobody that's at the wheel. There's nobody that has to answer to presidents, because they're all blocked up into these different conferences. And so that's what I worry about. You could come up with the best idea in the world. Who would implement it? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And so until there's like a commissioner or a czar and somebody that all the presidents sign on as this person is our leader, they tell us what to do, I don't see anything like that getting done.
How about this? How about like a second
like the
tier
NBA, man?
NIT.
Real quick though,
Yeah.
but like the NBA all of a sudden has this play-in tournament.
Right.
I think that's cool. Mm-hmm. I think that's good for the sport. I think it's good for those teams that are not trying to, or maybe would be trying to tank, but now are the 10th seed, and they get a chance to play themselves into the playoffs. I just think that's really good for the sport. And there's nobody, but it was outlandish at the time when you first saw it. It was like a COVID thing. You're like, what are they doing? What is this? But now it's kind of cool. I like it. But nobody's going to do that with, or the universal DH in Major League Baseball. There are people that make those decisions and institute them, like the no shift that's coming next year. That's for the betterment of the game.
That's happening?
But there's nobody.
They're going to outlaw the shift? Hell yeah.
They're going to outlaw the shift next year.
Let's go. Thank God.
Yeah. So it's like, but that's people that care about the sport and the watchability and the future of the sport. I don't know that I know college football doesn't have that. They have people that care about their conferences, but not the sport as a whole. And until they get somebody that cares about the sport as a whole, that cares about Utah and Florida State as much as it cares about Georgia, then it doesn't matter what good ideas we come up with because they won't be instituted.
I mean, it has to be the broadcast partners, right? Because ESPN can't spurn all these other schools because it's still part of their inventory, whether it's not football, whether it's college basketball, women's basketball, I mean, soccer, anything else. Like, they can't just totally turn their back on everybody for football. So maybe at some point they'll feel compelled to throw out life rafts to these other programs. How about this, Corey? Last thing, and we'll go to the last question. So Big Ten gets 4 teams into the playoff. SEC gets 4 teams into the playoff. ACC gets 1. Big 12 gets 1. And the Pac-12 gets 1. So that puts us at 11. We have a 12-team playoff. All the other schools, group of 5, they have an NIT-style tournament, and the winner of that gets the 12th and final spot into the college football playoff.
I'm all about it, buddy, but are they going to be playing the games back-to-back, like one day after the other? Like, that's a lot of time to have a whole tournament.
Well, maybe not 64 NIT. Maybe they'll do a 4-team playoff in the group of 5, or maybe.
So one team's going to have to win 2 games and then get into a 12-team playoff where to win the championship they'd have to win 3 more games. I like the idea, Aslan. I like the idea. I'm saying it should just be like,
you start it right after championship Saturday. I mean, that first weekend of December, you've got enough runway there to get a couple games and maybe have an off.
No, I'm just saying like a team like Air Force, if they were somehow to go win a national championship, would have to play like 17 games or 18 games. That just seems like a lot. If they have to play a tournament to get into the tournament after playing a full regular season, that's all. But, hey, man, I'm for everything. I'm for everything at this point. It's all on the table.
All right. Well, things have their own playoff, and we can watch it kind of like the 1AA playoff, I don't know. All right, last one.
I'm about that too. Yeah, they can just do that.
Gator 188, wake up, wake the heck up, all caps. I'm not yelling. My voice is on a precipitous status right now. Practice starts in about 2 weeks. I don't know, maybe closer to 3.
When does practice start, Aslan?
They haven't announced it yet. I mean, I think conventional wisdom, since they are playing in late August, is that they're probably going to maybe try to get going late July, but I don't think so. I still think they're going to end up first week of August, like the 5th or something. Like whenever they started last year, because the NCAA gives you like an extremely amount. You can practice like 25 times in the preseason, but nobody takes all of them because you would have like no days off, and nobody wants to do that to their players in this day and age. So I don't think there really is there's like an added urgency for Florida State to get ready for this one. I mean, they'll practice 18 times or something before the Duquesne game, and they'll be good. So
all right,
but they haven't announced it yet. They haven't announced it. All right, will you all be relegated to Hauser this year, or will you be able to watch from the practice field this year? Best wishes for Corey. Have a great day. Go Noles. Well,
thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind being a Hauser. I
don't either. When they're in the IPF, everybody, we're allowed inside the IPF. When they practice on the outside practice fields, we have to go up to Hauser. But to Corey's point about like being in Hauser, we can see everything. We can see all 2 football fields, all 120 yards of each of them. So we can, hey, Corey, you look at this part, I'll look at that part, Ira looks at this part, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't think we're losing anything by not being on the actual field. And then when they go into the IPF, we're on field level with them. So I don't know, maybe with this freaking mutation or whatever what is it called? Derivative? What is it called when it changes up every single time? The virus? What is it called?
A variant?
Variant. There it is.
Yeah.
Maybe they're. I'm sure they're ready to let us go full bore, but maybe with this coming out, maybe like, all right, never mind, back to Hauser. So we don't know quite yet, Gator Kirk, but I would assume we're still going to be able to film the first 3 periods of practice or whatever, and we'll have that up and. Warchant raps.
Yeah, but it's still like I think let's hope. But like when we're at Hauser, like we're essentially like the equivalent of what, like the 20th row of a stadium, the 30th row of a stadium.
Yeah, probably.
And you'd rather be that than the first row. Like you just can't see anything. Like we're in the IPF, I hate it because I can't see what's on the other side of the field. I can't see anyway. My eyesight's terrible. That's another appointment I got coming up next week. Or I guess maybe the week after next is an eye appointment.
All
so
the lasers.
Apparently.
Take all the lasers you can, Corey. Laser to the belly.
Just laser it all out at
eyeball.
once. Yeah, exactly. And then, you just can't see the other side of the field. So if I'm standing on one sideline and they run the play to the other sideline, I just have to watch the replay screen that they have at the IPF or in the practice fields and be like, okay, who made that tackle, or who did it look like made that tackle? But, I also need binoculars when I'm up in Hauser, too, because my eyesight is just – I can't wait to get good eyesight again, Aslan. I used to have great eyesight.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm excited for
it. It was measured at like 2015 when I was in high school. Ooh. You'd have thought I'd been a much better hitter than I ever was. But I had like 2015 or 2014 eyesight. And now it's probably 2060, 2080. Who knows?
All right, well, that's a wrap for us. Stay connected to warchant.com throughout the weekend. We're on quarterback watch. Maybe Brock Glenn makes a decision. 4-star QB out of Tennessee. Dalen Smothers announced he was going to Oklahoma, so you can't get them all. And then apparently you're going to be doing some work on a Saturday, Corey, huh?
Well, yeah, but it'll run on Tuesday. We're going to try to record a headlines.
We're
going to try to record a headlines because guys will be on the road. I'll be, recovering, so we won't be able to have an actual live headlines on Tuesday. But we're still trying to get that content out, baby. Still trying to produce that content. And I guess on that subject, we'll have a Monday show. Like I can record on Sunday at some point.
Okay, yeah. The Last Supper.
Then what? Then what? You probably won't have me for a few days, right? Maybe we could do one from Charlotte on Wednesday if I'm feeling up to it.
Yeah, I'm sure, Tom can pinch in. Ira, we'll make them rock, paper, and scissors for punishment, who's got to do a show with me up there. And,
yeah, good point. Good luck, guys.
I don't know how you're going to feel. If you feel good, if you feel good on Wednesday, we can do a show on Wednesday for Thursday or whatever. So
whatever's easiest for you, buddy. If it's easy just to grab one of those yahoos and sit down and do a show with them, that's all good with me. It doesn't matter. But if you want to go back to the room and record with me, we can try that as well.
Yeah, I still don't know what we're doing. I don't know what day we're leaving. I think we're going to get Airbnb. We're going to have a frat house again, like last year. And
nice.
So, yeah, we'll have shows. And we'll have full coverage from ACC kickoff in Charlotte. There's going to be 5 of us there. 6. Jeff, Tom, Ira, Austin, me, 5.
Yeah. Good luck, man. I'll be counting on it. I can't wait to read all the coverage and listen to all the content.
Jeff Cameron Show coming up 1 to 3 o'clock. Enjoy, everybody. Have a great one.